Hello friends, my name's Aaron Ciotti. Everybody calls me Ciotti. Welcome to Sunday Q&A. We're going to be talking today about lightweight versus durability and how I sort of approach that incredible conundrum. For the last 10 or so years of being into FPV, I've thought a lot about that and tested a lot of stuff kind of surrounding that. And tried to find, basically what you're trying to find is how light can you build that's still durable enough. Because the lighter that you build, the bigger of a battery that you can carry, or you can just fly lighter. If you want more mass, more momentum for when you're off throttle, inverted for example, put a bigger battery on. If you want it to be lighter and more accurate and get better runtime and all that good stuff, you've built it as light as possible for the amount of durability that you can kind of stand. Tiny whoops are, this applies to all of FPV. This applies to all of aeronautics, I guess, right? And so 5-inch rigs, 3-inch rigs, cinewhoops, whatever. This is a really important thing to kind of dive into and think about and like experiment with. And to me, you know, the stream title is like the big question. I really think it is, right? Like if you talk to anybody in the world of aeronautics, lightweight is everything, right? You want to take something and put it up into the air and push against gravity the entire time it's up in the air. Making it lighter makes damn near everything better. And so tiny whoops are a great place that we can kind of talk about it, because I can fly something heavy, I can fly something light, as I do a lot, to show you guys sort of the differences there. And then there's a bunch of like parts that we have that are very specifically like that sort of tick those boxes. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to just really like lay into this from a tiny whoop perspective and talk about specific tiny whoop parts, frames, cameras, canopies, mainly AIOs as well, though, that are in a lot of cases heavier and more durable, lighter and less durable. Also, there's what sort of muddies the water is that when they're lighter, they don't hit as hard. And so what's super interesting is, like, even though in some cases there'll be a part that is more fragile but lighter, it won't actually negatively affect the durability at all, because it's enough lighter that the thing hits with less energy and does less damage. And so that's another interesting kind of part of this. But yeah, I've got a couple different frames. I've got a couple different cameras, a couple different canopies. We're going to throw them on the scale. We're going to kind of talk about it. I'm not going to tell you specifically what to buy, because that's not the point of this. The point of this is for you to start buying 2 different frames at a time, right? When you go to buy a Cockroach V3, also buy a Newbie Drone Light AF. When you go to buy a canopy, get the BetaFPV Air canopy and the Mobula 6 upside down ball sack canopy. And you will have a bunch of different options. Get yourself a little $20 El Cheapo 0.1 of a gram scale, and that's where we're going to start kind of talking about it. Essentially, in my opinion, you're going to build a little bit lighter than you think you should and let stuff break. Tiny whoop parts are incredibly inexpensive, incredibly easy to replace and repair. And so build light, see what breaks, see how long it takes to break, and then just decide. If it breaks on the second battery, okay, you built a little too light in that area, put something more durable in that spot. But if it broke after 2 months, that's not too bad. Every 2 months having to replace a canopy, that would probably drive me crazy. But if that doesn't drive you crazy, having the lighter weight build, it's going to fly better. It's going to be easier to fly inside the house, right? We talk about that all the time. And so, yeah, we're going to we're going to dive into that today. That's kind of the main plan. Sound good? In the chat, Bad was first. Sporny the Bruce, Matthew W, Spaceman Spiff, Uriel, Brand Anderson, Jason Levin, Texas Mini Crawlers, Uriel, Tool Vanced, Dino FPV, Mike K, Fizz PV, Jason Levin, T-Bird. What's up, brother? Haven't seen you in a bit. Hope you're doing well. Shay FPV, Bruno, Brian Kirk, your drone mate, Uriel, Andrew Taylor. What's up, everybody? Type CiottiFPV into your chat message if you want to talk directly to me. If you want to talk to somebody else in the chat and they don't see your message, just type their name. For that person, it'll light up in orange. If you want to see what it looks like, type your own name into a chat message and send it, and you'll see it'll lights up in orange. Those are the chat messages I read. If you like these live streams and you want me to keep telling you how to build better flying rigs, head on over to CiottiFPV.com and support me. It's the only way that I can continue to do this. As the U.S. economy gets driven into the dirt by greedy people, those of us that are like artists, so to speak, we're the ones that tend to kind of get hammered the worst, because you can't go to the grocery store and pay me $3 to put to put food in your face. So yeah, if you have a couple extra dollars a month, support me over on Patreon. It's the best possible way, the best possible thing that you can do. I also do have, again, these are all linked on CiottiFPV.com. I have an Etsy store with lots of fun stuff that you can buy. That helps, and you get something. There's a Teespring store where you can get shirts like this one and many more. There's a Fiverr page where you can work one-on-one with me if you really want to learn fast. Bunch of affiliate links. If you're doing an order on the internet, there's probably an affiliate program on that website. Try to find someone's affiliate link real quick. While you're at it, just replace all your bookmarks with people's affiliate links, and then you don't have to remember to use them every time. Every time you check out, the affiliate link gets wiped out. So you have to click them over and over and over again. So change your bookmarks, change your URL bar suggestions, and support people that are making cool stuff for you to watch for free here on YouTube. Cool? Support me and I'll support you. How about that? In the chat, Mike K tagged me and said, I absolutely don't understand all the hate for the NX69 connector. I absolutely love it. Are people hating on it? People are dumb. There's nothing bad about it. Like, do I wish that it had come out before BT 2.0 so that we could have had some backwards compatibility a year or two ago? Sure. Is that newbie drone's fault? Absolutely fucking not. Like, people are dumb, dude. Uriel says, hope you're well. I missed you Friday. No worries. Handle myself without this therapy. Mike K says, I love the Hummingbird V4. I've got around 100 batteries through it already. It's perfect. The Hummingbird V4 is what we're going to be flying today. We're going to put 4 batteries through this. This has been incredible. I am going to change. So I've spent some time with the Quad 6.6 canopy. I really do like it. But I'm going to keep trying different canopies on this. I was hoping to swap it over today. I printed out what I thought was a 10-degree briBrain. Well, the file says that it's a 10-degree briBrain, but it is absolutely not a 10-degree briBrain. This is like 20 degrees. So on Thingiverse, there's a here, let me show you. There is a low up tilt briBrain. So here it is from Alex T. Verdi. briBrain low angle mounts, right? So in here, there are low angle briBrains. These have an extra little support here, but there's a bunch that are just normal. Here we go. These are the ones that I dig. And so in the files, there's a BI 10 degree, but you can actually even see it in the image here. That ain't 10 degree. That's like 20. This whoever designed this, they got their angle a little bit messed up. So I don't know what to do. It looks like this reinforced one is for the BI, and it actually is. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll print this reinforced one and give that a shot. But yeah, I want to start screwing around with 10 to 15 degree up tilt camera mounts, because this is a small space. And so I found out the other day that the BetaFPV Air 65 canopy, the G-string banana hammock canopy, at its lowest setting, BetaFPV says that this is 25 degrees of up tilt. It has always felt, this canopy has always felt like it's had a little bit, more than a little bit too much up tilt, if that makes sense. And so the, oh man, somebody left a comment here. Please log into, I'm actually going to comment on this Thingiverse file and say, yo, the 10 degree is actually like 20 degrees. Yeah, it's always felt like a lot of up tilt. When you run lower up tilt, it tends to make you fly slower. And that is gonna be a good thing for flying inside the house. And so I want to try it. I haven't run, well, the Quad 6.6 mount here at its lowest up tilt looks like it's maybe like 15 degrees. And I really like this mount. Having that lower up tilt For whatever reason, I fly really good. It's probably because I'm not charging across the room at full speed. Anything you can do to kind of slow you down inside the house is going to really help, because the slower you fly, the less momentum you've got. You could argue that it's a little bit less exciting, I guess, but no, it's just as exciting. Hey, brother, love these mounts, but the NBDB 10 and 15 degree regulars seem to be much more than 10 or 15 degrees of up tilt. Any chance you can hey, Desgree, not Desgree. But the files for the okay. Hopefully that doesn't sound like a dick. Stuff on Thingiverse, it's like, it's so amazing that people do that work and then put them up there for everybody to enjoy. It feels weird to be like, hey, thanks for doing all that work. You want to do some more work for nothing? You know? Where are we at here? Come on, YouTube chat. Stop randomly zipping me to the bottom. Texas Mini Crawler says, have you gotten to check out the new Happy Model G473 5-in-1 AIO? I have not, and I probably won't. I have a lot of extra AIOs here, and, shoestring budget life. So I don't really have much of a reason to check that thing out. It doesn't do anything better than the 2G4 or the Super X. So, yeah, I don't know. Your drone mate says, thanks for covering the Jello issue on Tiny's a few episodes ago. You're certainly welcome, dude. Glad you got something out of that. Jello is a pain in the ass, but we all have to deal with it. Gamehead Ariel says, yo, answer to your question is por qué no los dos? Oh, God, it's been so long since I took Spanish. Uriel says, I heard you had a cousin. I have a few cousins. Gamehead also says, it's funny the timing of this. We're about to release a Duraspec Race VCI Pro DB Air 2 frame with a new way of mounting the battery that better protects the AIO. Very cool. Mike K says, the biggest complaint is apparently a lot of people are connecting the batteries backwards and frying AIOs. Idiots that don't pay attention. Yeah, plugging a battery in backwards is... it's a thing. Like, if you're in a rush... yeah... I wish that all connectors wouldn't plug in backwards. That's for sure. So that's a semi-valid complaint, and I don't think that you can plug you can certainly plug an XT 30 in backwards. You can't plug XT 60s in backwards. I don't think you can plug a BT 2.0 in backwards. And so, but here's the thing. Newbie Drone can't control that with this connector. Newbie Drone made a choice to make this connector backwards compatible with PH 2.0. And so there was nothing that they can't redesign it, because then it wouldn't fit. Right? Like, that might be why when BetaFPV designed the BT 2.0, they designed it the way that they did. Somebody that I don't have a... Wait, no, yeah, I do. I've certainly never been able to plug a BT 2.0 in backwards. I don't necessarily know if I've ever really tried, though, but I'm pretty sure you can't. No, you can't. No, you can't. And so, BetaFPV, they decided potentially, like, hey, we're gonna make it. We're not gonna make a connect. We're gonna make a better connector, and the PH 2.0 is able to be plugged in backwards. And so we're going to totally redesign it and hope that the FPV community embraces it. And we did, and good for them. Newbie Drone made this connector, and because of the way PH 2.0 is shaped, they could not, there's nothing they could do to make it not plug in backwards. And so what do you want? Do you want to buy all new batteries and run a totally new connector? Or do you want to take 1 second extra when you're plugging a battery in and have something that's somewhat backwards compatible, right? Backwards compatible with all your old chargers, all your old quads. And then if you want the less resistance of the battery plug, you just have to install a new AIO side plug. And so, yeah, I mean, in a perfect world, sure, I'm certain that Newbie Drone would have designed it to not be able to be plugged in backwards, but they couldn't. We live in an imperfect world, and so, you know, people that bitch and moan about like having more choices are kind of silly. And, you know, you plug a battery in backwards, it's on you. GameHat says 16.5 grams and should be even more durable than the standard race that you bashed. Plus they're nearly silent. Very cool. Because of the dual bearing motors, low pitch props. Unfortunately, the dual bearing motors don't stay silent for very long. Those little tiny bearings in there, from what Bob Ruge a long time ago was telling me, they're dentistry bearings, and they're not rated for the kV that we turn on these things, which I assume explains why they tend to get noisy after a bunch of abuse. Quad 66 actually realized this a while back. It could be that. It could also be that we're smashing them into stuff, you know? A brass solid metal bushing versus a bearing, you know, that bushing is never going to get abused as badly as a bearing. But, you know, it's nice to have all those choices. If you're not going to crash super hard, the bearing motors are the way to go. You Can Have PV says BI 20 degree isn't bad with the crazy BI fisheye, and I agree that BetaFPV feels like more than they say. GameHat also says I flew 10 degrees for the first time for a couple weeks. It added so much to my style when I went back to 22. Very cool. YouTube just did the thing again. GameHat also says canopy on Thingiverse right above the 10. That's actually a 20 in the file. I think there is a correct 10. Right above the 10. That's actually a 20. You know, I'm just going to do it right now, actually. I'm just going to download all of the files from that Thingiverse, and maybe the naming conventions are just wrong. So I'm just going to hit download all files, and then I'll flip through them real quick. Good call, dude. Dan Zilla Turbo says, "Heyo friends, heyo Captain James Holden, aka CiottiFPV." GamePat Ariel says late versus durability. Porque no los equals why not both? Got it. You Can Have PV says that's why Newbie Drone boards have reverse polarity protection. Well, then how are people blowing up the Newbie Drone boards? I guess they're using the NX69 connector on other boards. GameHat also says PSA Flywoo XT30 AIO side are less protected than normal XT30s the way they are made. You can lightly brush the connectors together with no pressure and get reverse polarity. Awesome. So don't buy Flywoo XT30s. Weebleed's in a house. He says, "What's up, Gangly Gang? Happy Sunday. It's been a hot minute. Hope all is well." It is indeed, brother. Glad to have you in here. GameHat says, in the list above, the wrong angle 10 is a correct angle 10. Sorry for the strange wording. What? The wrong angle 10 is a... What's that mean? Downloaded them all, though. Let's take a super quick look here. Files. All right, so... This is... Come on! Flip around. Sideways. That's a lot of up tilt. So that says 10-degree angle BI. That is not 10 degrees. Watch this. Ready? Ah, shit. 10-degree reinforced. This is 10 degrees. I can tell. So I could run this one. I could run this reinforced one, but I don't necessarily want these reinforcement parts here. And then so we've got, this is a regular, so I did print one of these, but this won't hold the new BI, the BI. This is 10 degrees. See the little, it's just shallow angle. So this one is correct. I do have one of these, but I'm looking for BI. That does look like it might be, so that says, nope, that's not 15 degrees either. That's like 25 degrees. So then here is 15 degrees. Yeah, you can really see the difference, right? Like, this is actually 15 degrees. That is real 15 degrees. That is not 15 degrees. You know what I mean? Like, huge difference. So yeah, the names are a little bit wrong. This is proper 15 degrees here. That says 20 degrees. That's more like 30 degrees, BI. And then that's proper. There it is again. These both say 20 degrees, but this one is 20 degrees. This one is like 40. Yeah, so there are no BI 10 or 15 degrees in here other than the reinforced. I'll probably print one of the reinforced just to kind of try it. But yeah. CiottiFPV Bruno says, I decided to try the lowering of angle modes slowly to get to fly better in the house in Acro. I think this is a good method. No. I think that you should go to Acro as soon as possible. I know that when you fly Acro in the house, all you do is crash. But you got to do it. You got to do it. Early days, I was very hesitant to go from angle to Acro in the house because it was just frustrating. And like, I took a bunch of time to like, to figure out like how I could put angle mode on a switch, like the most convenient switch, and like very quickly flip angle mode on when I was about to shoot a gap and then flip it back off when I wanted to do all kinds of other silly shit. In the end, you're going to fly Acro in the house. Like, you're not going to fly angle mode or horizon mode in the house forever. So, rip the Band-Aid off, start flying Acro now. The next month is going to suck, and you're going to get frustrated as hell, but you got to do it. You have to. Flying tiny whoops in angle or horizon mode, and then going outside and flying Acro, you're going to get half as good at either one, because you're not doing the same thing, and it's such a different way of flying. And so, yeah, man, rip the Band-Aid off, take angle mode out of the equation, take horizon out of the equation, and just do Acro. Start doing 6 a day, and in a month, you'll be starting to get there. But yeah, angle mode, horizon mode with tiny whoops is very, very, very quickly losing popularity, even in the racing community, which used to be all angle mode. One by one, racers are switching over to Acro, and so do it, brother. I know it's frustrating as hell, but it's gonna make you a better pilot outside. It's gonna make you a better pilot, full stop. The more you fly angle and horizon mode, it doesn't necessarily make you a better pilot in Acro mode. Because it's just a totally different like discipline. Make sense? I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but that's the truth that you need to hear, not the truth that you want to hear. All right, move to trash. There we go. Grox, make sure that you type CiottiFPV so that it highlights in orange so I can see your comment. He says, do you test whoop wire or Teflon wire 34 AWG for ultralight motor wires 65mm build? I do not. I have these on mine and works amazing, but these thin wires are easy to rip off. That's why I don't. Maybe T7000 to secure. My philosophy on building, is basically use off-the-shelf parts and build with durability in mind over lightweight and performance. If I were one of the top 10 racers, Tiny Whoop racers, I would not have that approach. But I'm not. Racing is not fun to me. I'm 100% freestyle and 100% like cinematic, right? And so for me, using also, I come on these live streams and I talk to a lot of you guys, and it feels weird to be like, yo guys, here's the best possible Tiny Whoop build. It's going to take you 5 hours to build, and it's a total nightmare, and you're going to have to fix it all the time. And isn't FPV awful? Right? Like, I want to give as many people as possible a build that is damn near, or if not completely identical to what I fly, that is easy to build. Hopefully, like, no soldering. Maybe you're going to have to solder a battery lead on, but, like, that's it, hopefully. And so, yeah, using, like, crazy thin wire, direct soldering the motors. Is there a little tiny performance benefit to that? Absolutely. Is it worth it? Not in my opinion. Also, I test a lot of stuff, and trying to test 2 or 3 different sets of motors against each other that are direct soldered is the dumbest thing ever. And I recommend that you guys test stuff too, because it helps you be a better pilot and it's fun. And like, and then there's also like the durability side of it, where like if you've got motors that are direct soldered and you start to bend a motor shaft, you're not going to want to pull the whole thing apart to switch that motor out. So you're just going to keep flying it and flying it and flying it, and you're going to keep turning the PID tune down and down and down and down, and it's going to fly worse and worse and worse and worse because you don't want to pull the whole thing apart. And then versus you've got motors on plugs, it's like 2 minutes of work to swap that motor out. You do it, the rig flies 1,000 times better again, and away you go. So there's so many benefits to building these things off the shelf. This is something that I kind of learned in the world of motorsport in like my 20s and 30s. You know, you'll meet guys that go all the way down the rabbit hole to have the absolute best performing. They tend to be the guys that win in whatever their class is, but they'll have a car that they've put 1,000 hours into customizing, drilling holes and stuff, making all custom one-off parts. And then if something happens and the car breaks, they've got to do all of that work again. Like it's not like a quick, easy, simple fix. And so it becomes like this all-encompassing thing. Like all they do is work on this car. Actually, so there's if you're a Top Gear or Jeremy Clarkson or Eric Bana fan, Eric Bana made a documentary called Love the Beast, chronicling his Australian muscle car. What is it, Toronto? I think it's a Toronto. It's a old school 60s V8 muscle car that he turned into a basically a pro touring build. Totally revised suspension, thousands of hours into the build, make a muscle car awesome and go around corners and whatnot. And then he goes on this big Target Tasmania rally and he bangs it into a tree and does 1,000 hours worth of damage because all of the shit that broke was all one-off stuff that him and his guys had spent countless hours setting up and developing and all this jazz. And in his conversation with Jeremy Clarkson, they kind of talk about that, and he's like, you know, I don't know if I'm going to rebuild this car. Like, it's not just the money, it's all of the time. Like, I have to put all of this time back into this. And that was a big reason that he was thinking of not rebuilding the car. And that's, you know, like, on one hand, yeah, sure, he was trying to build something super extreme to kind of win the class that he was in. And sometimes if you want to win the class that you're in, you have to do that, especially if there's other people that are willing to go completely insane and go that route. With freestyle FPV and with cinematic FPV, it's not like that. And so take advantage of that. Take advantage of the fact, in my opinion, right? If you want to go all the way down the rabbit hole and have a build that's got, you know, all kinds of custom shit, more power to you. But just understand that when it breaks, and it's gonna break, and then it's gonna break again, and it's gonna break again and again and again and again and again and again and again. Every single time that happens, you're gonna have to put all that time back in. And so that actually really nicely kind of ties in with what we're talking about today, of like, if you know, where are you at? If you like that process of customizing stuff and it doesn't bother you, by all means, keep an eye on it, because the 40th time that you have to do that repair, it might start bothering you. This is a path that I went on many moons ago in FPV, right? Like early days of FPV for me in the late 20 teens, mid to late 20 teens. I didn't care about that. I didn't mind building and repairing. Well, after years and years and years and years of repairing the same thing over and over and over again, it started to get super old, and I kind of remembered the lesson from Car World of like, yeah, right, spend time figuring out what the best off-the-shelf stuff is, rather than taking whatever off-the-shelf stuff that I've got and dumping a bunch of time into it, right? It like, especially with tiny whoops, it is way easier. The money that you're going to spend on tiny whoop stuff drastically offsets the cost, right? Like I've got a frame that cost me $5. All right, well, I'm going to put 10 hours into drilling, not 10 hours. I'm going to put 2 hours into drilling holes into this frame to make it lightweight. Well, then it breaks. Instead, I'm going to spend $20 on buying every frame that exists and figure out which one of those frames is the lightest and the most durable. For me, my time is worth more, right? What's your time worth? Is 2 hours of your life? And you have to keep in mind that, you know, customizing this stuff, it's going to break, and then you're going to have to customize it again. It's going to break, you're going to have to customize it again. So it's not just 1 hour, it's that second hour, it's the third hour, it's the fourth hour, it's the fifth hour. You're 5 hours into it. Was that really worth $20? Go mow a lawn. You can make $20 for mowing somebody's lawn in a half an hour. You just saved yourself 4.5 hours, right? And so, you know, it's all kind of wrapped into that in my experience. So there you go. I'm gonna try to get caught up on chat, and then we're gonna dive into weighing some of this stuff and talking more about lightweight versus durability. CiottiFPV Reno says I decided to try the lower. Oh no, we got that. Uriel says some shims behind the rear legs or front. You can make it like you want. Yeah, I could do that, but you know, that's adding weight, and with tiny whoops, we're really trying not to do that. Also, like shimming up the rear legs, that's going to make that screw that goes down into the frame work a lot harder. So I wouldn't recommend that. GameHat says you could just snip off the reinforcement struts if you don't like them. That's pretty much what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to leave them on, and we'll see what it weighs, but I'll probably end up doing that. Although the front leg design is different between those reinforced mounts and the non-reinforced mounts, so we'll see. FPV Analog says, oh, we got that. Yep. Good question, by the way, Grox. And GameHead also says, what do you think of Acro Trainer? There's no self-centering. It's just Acro with an angle limit. So you can't get too far sideways / upside down. I don't recommend any of it. Just, if you're going to stay into... If you want to fly some sort of assisted mode, fly DJI stuff. Fly a Mavic, fly a Nevada. They do that beautifully. If you're into FPV, fly Acro. It's one of the main reasons to fly FPV is no nannies. You know, it's what FPV does well. Benny Bravo says, does a black screen mean dead VTX? Maybe. Still getting OSD. Nope. How are you, if the VTX was dead, what's the VTX do? It sends video, right? So if you have OSD, you're still getting video, right? So the camera is dead. I remember you covered this, but can't remember what you said exactly. Hopefully it's a camera issue. You don't have a multimeter. Yeah, always just take a big step back and like, you can literally like hold it in your hand and be like, all right, so what's going on here? We've got the camera. The camera is taking light in, and it's turning that light and that video into a signal. It's sending that signal down the wires. Those wires go into this plug. Check the plug. The video goes from that plug in through the board. It goes into the VTX, the OSD chip. The OSD chip puts a layer in front of the video with the OSD elements. The OSD chip then outputs that video. It's the video from the camera with the OSD layer, all smashed together. It outputs that to the VTX. The VTX sends that to the UFL port. The UFL port has an antenna plugged in, hopefully. Hopefully the UFL port's not broken. There's another thing to check. If you have no video at all, right? Not your case. UFL port to the antenna, out the active element of the antenna through the air, into the antenna on my goggles, down the antenna into my goggles, into the SMA, right? And so like literally just like holding this stuff and kind of looking at it really does help. Just trace the path, and you'll literally see all the different spots where the problem could be. That's an important part of troubleshooting, is like not getting lost in the sauce and being like, no, it's the PIDs. Stop, take a big step back, relax, take a breath, take 30 seconds, don't think about it, and then come back to it and be like, let me approach this like an 8-year-old. And a lot of times that's when you'll see that your camera plug has just barely slid out a little bit, and it's just barely unplugged, which this one might actually be. So yeah, if your VTX was dead, you would have static. Static is an antenna struggling, a receiver receiving nothing, just right. Static is just randomness. And so if you've got static, you've got no transmission whatsoever. If you've got OSD, that's a part of the video. Good question. GameHat says Bardwell's Learn to Fly FPV playlist will work with tiny whoops in the house. The reference objects he uses in the sim for exercises are very translatable to real life at any scale. Shay FPV Bruno says 6 a day in Acro. Got it. Nice, brother. You can do it. Fair warning though, you're gonna get frustrated. Just mash through it. GameHat likes plugs on freestyle whoops. Resoldering motor wires on AIOs is rough. Yep. Grok says thanks. In terms of durability, do you try TPU washers under motors? No, do not do that. That is a bad idea. They smooth out vibrations. No, they do not. They change vibrations. And I noticed less bent shaft and motor damage. That might be true. It might, because it's going to let the motor move more, which is going to more slowly absorb the shock, the impact. But it is bad for vibrations. It does not smooth out vibrations. It just changes where the vibrations are. It changes the frequency that the vibrations are at, but the problem is it changes the vibrations from being even and what's called sinusoidal to being not even, because you've got a metal screw on the bottom and then you've got a soft mount on top. So when the motor vibrates, it's going to pull against the metal screw, and it's metal screw against molded plastic. And so that's going to be one shape of the vibration. And then on the other side, it's going to pull the screw away, and then it's going to compress the TPU. And then the worst part is going to be when it comes back. The metal screw is going to smack against the molded plastic. And so instead of a nice even wave, it's going to be a janky wave every single time the metal screw hits the molded plastic. Is it going to be as bad as soft mounting motors on bigger quads with carbon fiber? No. but it's still not a good thing. The PID loop, the error correction, is designed to deal with sinusoidal waves, and you're creating not sinusoidal waves, and that's not good. I never thought about it from the perspective. I never thought about doing it on tiny whoops. It's a thing that got super popular in 5-inch quads like 5 or 6 years ago. CiottiFPV put out a video about like, hey guys, I put 2 layers of electric tape between my motors and my frame, and all my problems went away. And the entire FPV community went, holy fuck! And everybody started doing it. Everybody started printing TPU motor spacers, and most people were like, yo, this made things worse. What the hell? For whatever Johnny's exact setup was at that time, it changed where the vibrations were, and this is back like Betaflight 3.5.7 days, pre RPM filtering, pre dynamic filters. So it changed where the resonance was, essentially, and that helped whatever the tune and filtering that he had at the moment was. For most people, it didn't, because there's all of these other negatives to it. So, like, if you're in the exact scenario where you've got a vibration that is in, like, a really bad spot, and then you soft mount your motors, and it changes that to an easier frequency that vibration is happening, it might help you out. But it's a bad idea because of all these other reasons, and because of the fact that it's not actually helping anything, it's just changing. The real solution would be to fix the filters, fix the actual problem, right? It's like your headlight burns out in your car, and instead of fixing the headlight, you just hang your arm out the window with a flashlight. It's like, yeah, okay, but it's a really bright flashlight. You hang a floodlight out the window, and it's actually brighter than your headlight. And so you're like, yeah, I can see even better now, but your fucking arm's gonna get tired, bro. That's a weird analogy, but that's all I got on a Sunday. If it makes you bend less motor shafts, though, if it flies fine and it makes you bend less motor shafts, more power to you. But keep in mind that it is creating other problems. Maybe those other problems aren't affecting your tune, in which case, sure. If your motors are lasting longer, yeah. I would get annoyed with the motor screws backing out, though. That would drive me crazy. CiottiFPV says, I like testing cameras out. Have a Nano 7 FXT on the way to replace one of my CO3s and broken Nano. Testing cameras is fun. Boy, does it makes you fly worse, though, for a little while until you get used to it. Uriel says, you have to enjoy the journey, not the goal. Very true. GameHat says, the only good, weird newbie drone connector is the tiny cam plug that end up being standard. CiottiFPV Bruno says, isn't buying a bind and fly cheaper in way currently than buying from new ports? Absolutely. But none of the bind and flies are perfect. So what most people end up doing is buying a bind and fly and then replacing the motors, replacing the frame. At that point, like, what's interesting is at that point you've spent the same amount of money a lot of times as if you'd built it from scratch, but you have an extra set of motors. They're not motors that are a high enough kV usually, but you have them. You can sell them on FPV Marketplace or on my Discord if you're a patron, and then you can come out ahead. But yeah, the bind and flies are unreasonably inexpensive. It's wild. Uriel says, I don't have to win, then I have to pay for the drinks. Matthew W says, I've been thinking a lot about managing bench fatigue with daily flying. Durability is definitely a powerful tool there. Also, full spares and batching work. Yeah, lots of different ways that you can bench fatigue is a great word for it. I like that. Lots of different ways you can help out with that. Uriel says, I always worked hard and had the opportunity to get the best, but I left the rat race. Relax. You and me both, my friend. FPV Analog says, flying Acro inside is literally an adrenaline rush every time. I've started flying level, but it got boring and I said, F it. I broke frames, but it was worth it. Hell yeah, man. Agreed. YouTube did the thing again. Trying to find my place. GameHat says, IME, the old Mobula 6 Eco frame was flexible enough to save motor shafts. No need for TPU washers. I bashed the tar out of some Nubiju and Flow 702s on a 20-gram whoop, never bent a shaft. Yeah, it's been interesting how different frames help or don't help with bending motor shafts. I really just wish that HQ would make us some 1.2-inch props with 1.5mm motor shaft holes, and then we could run the WeBleed 0702 32,500 kV motors, and or buy the WeBleed 1.5mm motor shaft bells and put them onto any 702 with that same motor bell, and we would never have to worry about bending motor shafts again. UCanFPV says, the stupid ELRS tower on the 2G4 was hitting the support for the banana hammock and making my cam tilted and flying so weird. Yep. Yeah. Different canopies, different frames. Isn't working with multiple manufacturers a joy? All right. Lightweight versus durability. We're going to just dive into a bunch of weights first and foremost here. So scale coming on. First thing that we're going to talk about. These are my two favorite frames. The BetaFPV Air V2 Air 65 V2 frame is good, but it's not as light as the Light AF, and it's not as basically vibration resistant, or it doesn't have as tall of a duct to be as slow as the Cockroach V3. So for me, these are my two favorite frames. If you want to go fast and be lightweight, it's the Light AF frame. Is it indestructible? Absolutely not. But they're like $4. Buy a few of them. If you want to do indoor freestyle and be nice and slow with nice tall ducts, and you want really good vibration resistance, because as Quad 66 figured out, having the battery pushing up against these posts really makes this frame sturdy in this dimension. It also has the hookers on it so that you can run my Batwing mount, so you can get on my Etsy store. Newbie Drone Cockroach V3. This is really my favorite frame because I don't care about going fast and being ultra lightweight. This is the one. Cockroach V3 with a set of WeBleed 702s is 9.2 grams. Light AF with a set of 702s is 8.8. So 8.8 versus 9.2. 0.4 of a gram different. Sounds like not a lot until you think about it in terms of percentages. Your dry weight is going to be like, let's talk about all up. Let's just say your tiny whoop is 20 grams, so I have to do as little math as humanly possible, okay? Let's say your all-up weight is 20 grams. A 0.4 gram change is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 5%. It's like a 1.5, call it 2%. Yeah, 2% is probably a better number anyway, because we're not flying 20 gram dry, but the dry weight doesn't really matter. It's all about the all-up weight. Whatever. Somebody in chat maybe will type in the actual amount. But let's just say it's a 2 to 3% change. 2% is probably about right. 2% weight difference is real. If you blow that up to a 5-inch build that's at, let's say, 800 grams. That's like a 16 gram difference on a 5-inch rig. 14 to 16 gram difference. That's legit. You will absolutely feel that difference in weight. And so 0.4 of a gram is significant. Also, between these two frames, this has really thin ducts, and this has really tall ducts. This is going to aerodynamically be slower and help you out kind of flying in the house. But that's not what we're talking about here. Durability. The heavier weight frame, you guessed it, is more durable. The lightweight frame is more fragile. Both of these frames have the same motor mounting setup. The weight difference is in the thickness of the duct, mainly. And so, like motor shafts, if anything, the Cockroach V3 frame, because it has more meat up here, it's going to resist the impacts more, and it's going to dump less energy into the motor shaft. So your motors will be more durable in this frame as well. So it's a little bit less cut and dry between these frames. A lot of times the only difference is weight, and it's just a situation of like you want to fly as lightweight as you possibly can, and then if it breaks too often, then you go to the heavier weight option. But with these two, the height of the ducts does matter. Next time you do an order, if the website has the Light AF frame and you haven't tried one yet, you absolutely should. It's $4, well spent. You might like the way that it flies with the thinner ducts. If you're going to fly this rig outside, you'll love the way that it flies with the thinner ducts. If you like flying faster, you'll love the way it flies with the thinner duct. For hard indoor freestyle or for just generally flying slow, though, Newbie Drone Cockroach V3. Love it. So will you. 702 motors versus 802 motors. If it's a 65mm 1S rig, you want 702s. There's almost nobody that's still flying 802s on these lightweight rigs, unless they have to because they're in a tiny whoop class that requires it. The 702 motors are lighter, and they're actually more durable because they have the same exact motor shaft, and they're lighter. So the 802 motors really don't have any benefits in terms of durability or lightness. 802 motor is more for a 1.6 inch prop, not 1.2 inch props that we fly on these. Camera and okay, AIO is the other spot where, and I don't have both of these AIOs, but at this point, the only two AIOs that I care about are the Happy Model 2G4 and the Happy Model Super X. The Super X is the AIO that comes with the Mobile 6 2024. It is lighter weight and a little bit more fragile. The 2G4 is heavier and unbelievably durable. The Super X is pretty damn durable. Way more durable than any of the BetaFPV AIOs at the moment. So if you're frustrated with BetaFPV AIOs and you've got the money, you should go to a Super X AIO before the 2G4. If you're trying to keep things on a budget, just go directly to the 2G4 because it's so goddamn durable. It just works. It's just awesome. But if you are willing to potentially throw away $50, $60, whatever the Super X costs, the better situation is to get that AIO first, fly the shit out of it, see how long it lasts. If it lasts long enough, you've got the lighter weight option. The 2G4 does have more capacitors, and it does give you a little bit of a cleaner video signal. So, like, I've got a couple of these RC drift car chasing analog rigs, and I have those all on 2G4s because there's less video noise coming through, and that matters for that specific use. For flying freestyle in the house, who gives a shit? You just get very slight little diagonal lines with the Super X. Sometimes you don't. Sometimes you do. And so, yeah, AIOs are the one spot where it's not as inexpensive, right? Like you got to pay a little bit more to go down that path and figure out which is going to be durable enough for you. But again, if you just want to hit the easy button, the 2G4, which you can get from Weebleed, I think they might be one of the only spots that have them at this point. It's an absolute no-brainer. It's not heavy, but it's not ultra lightweight. But boy, does it make up for it in the fact that you can just batter the living hell out of it forever, it seems like, and they just don't die. So that's AIOs. Yeah, good. Backwoods says Super X diagonal lines drove me nuts. It definitely made me fly worse. In terms of fly, I don't know. The diagonal lines don't bother me. Like, yeah, they're there, but I can still absolutely see where I'm going. You could make the argument that because of that electrical noise, you're not going to be able to get the tune cranked up as much. If you're if tuning is the thing in FPV that makes you smile the most, okay, get a 2G4. But on the Super X, you can absolutely get a tune that doesn't prop wash, that feels locked in. It's completely fine. Being able to push the tune further on the 2G4, it's not going to make an actual difference. So, and the difference in weight is real. And so the lighter weightness of the Super X is going to make you more accurate. You're going to carry less momentum. It's going to make shooting gaps easier. So for me, yeah, that's going to make me hit more gates, inverted, backwards, all that jazz. Camera and canopy are one of the biggest decisions here. And are there a lot of options. My favorite at the moment is old school Mobula 6 canopy with Runcam Nano3. This combination... shit. Hold on. I can't weigh just the camera and the canopy. I have to weigh it ready to go in the frame, because there's another piece that goes inside the canopy, and there are some screws that go inside the canopy. So I need to grab one of these here. So this setup, which is the most durable setup, is 2.4 grams. The other really popular setup is a CO3 camera, which is a better camera than the Runcam Nano3, and the BetaFPV Air 65 Banana Hammock G-String canopy. And this combo, wow, it's closer than I thought. It's way closer than I thought. 2.3 grams. I thought it was way different than that. Hold on, let me just double check. Let me preload the scale. It's bouncing back and forth between 2.3 and 2.2. Let's give it the benefit of the doubt and say 2.2 grams. So 2.2 grams, just for the sake of argument, versus 2.5 grams. There we go. So 0.3 of a gram difference. Not nothing. That's a real difference in weight. It just settled down to 2.4 grams. So 0.2 of a gram. Again, not nothing. Not as big as 0.4 of a gram, but not nothing. With Tiny Whoops, where if you can make it 0.1 of a gram lighter, that's like, okay, do it if there's no negative impact to durability. 0.2 of a gram lighter, now we're like, that's a real weight savings. And so if there's a little bit of an impact to durability, it's maybe worth it to grab that 0.2 of a gram. Oh, I didn't mean to turn that off. And so between these two, you've got total durability, adjustable up tilt, worse camera. You get used to this camera. All analog looks like shit anyway. Versus CO3, better looking camera. Canopy that is not super durable, but it is cheap. You can get like a 5-pack of these for like $10 or something. They're not that hard to replace. Kind of a pain in the ass, but it's not too bad. The thing I really don't like about this canopy is that it doesn't hold the camera level. You have to just eyeball the rotation of the camera. You can get it right and then just hit a little Beta E6000. Just more bullshit. With this, you don't deal with any of that. You just put it in there. It's a 0.2 gram increase in weight. The camera is dead level. The canopy is hysterically durable. Christ, the canopy is actually so strong and it connects to all 4 points, that it actually makes the frame stiffer because it's so stout, right? These 4 points, they kind of close the shoebox in. This is like a convertible car. You put this on top and it's like a hard top car. It's connecting these 4 points. When this thing flexes, these 4 points move. They move around. And so when you connect them with a nice solid canopy, it actually helps it out. This canopy, yes, it connects those 4 points. It doesn't connect them in as strong of a way. This is like a floppy, bendy mess. This is a lot less floppy and bendy. And so a couple other benefits here and there. If you like the CO3 camera and you want to save a little bit of weight, this is how you do it. And if you break these too often, then you can make your mind up. So maybe go for this with the CO3 first. You're going to be able to see where you're going a little bit better, and it's going to be a little bit lighter. You can put the CO3 into this canopy. You're going to have to 3D print something, though. You're going to 3D print this little guy. I will sell these on the Etsy store. This little thing weighs nothing. Let me weigh it with something else. So 2.4. It weighs 0.1 of a gram. But here's the thing. The CO3 camera is significantly heavier than the Runcam Nano3 camera. The Runcam Nano3 is 1.2 grams. The CO3 is 1.5 grams. So the indestructible camera, what was that? I'm sorry, the indestructible canopy with the good-looking camera with the little mount is going to be 0.4 of a gram heavier than the Runcam Nano3 in the Mobula 6 canopy. And again, this camera does not look bad enough that after you've gotten used to it, this is still the way to go for me. The Runcam Nano3 is a little bit hard to find. BetaFPV does sell it as Emax Tiny Hawk camera. If you search BetaFPV for Runcam Nano3, you'll find it. It doesn't have a connector on it, so you can either direct solder it or you can make one of these little connectors and solder the connector to the Runcam Nano3. It's totally doable. And so there you go. There's like the heaviest. You've got the super heavy, super durable option with the best possible camera, right? The little adapter. Oh, it might not actually be that heavy. Hold on. Let me think about this for 1 second. Because that no, those weights were right. Yeah, those weights were right. So yeah, super heavy but super durable with the best camera is CO3 3D printed adapter and Mobula 6 old school canopy. Middle of the road option, total durability, good enough camera for garbage analog. Mobula 6 canopy with the Runcam Nano3. And then lightest weight option with the best possible quality camera, BetaFPV Air 65 canopy with CO3. The other option is to go all the way 3D printed with your canopy. And now there's a lot of different options. Now you've got like McStinky mounts, you've got briBrain, you've got the lightweight briBrain, lots and lots and lots of different options. At the moment, there's a CO3 briBrain right here, which is really, really good. This guy with the CO3 camera is 2.5 grams, 2.4. So that is, hold on. Come on. There it goes. 2.2. So that's 0.2 of a gram heavier than the BetaFPV Air 65 canopy. It might be more durable. It is going to be more durable. Yeah, I have broken a bunch of these. I've flown these a lot, but I've broken a bunch of these. I've never broken any of these. So there's two versions of the briBrain. There's a really lightweight version, and then there's this like kind of more durable version. I've never broken one of these more durable briBrains. I've only ever broken the lighter weight briBrain. And so, yeah, a little bit more durability here. But at this point, you're up to this weight. So if you really want the CO3 camera, but you want the durability, briBrain. If you want to try to save a little bit of weight and see if it's durable enough for you, here you go. The McStinky mount, the problem with the McStinky mount is it sits so low to the board that if you've got your ceramic antenna up there, or if you've got the motor plug up there like the BetaFPV boards, or even the 2G4 has a UFL plug up there, the McStinky almost always is going to be sitting up on something and trying to be sideways, and then you're going to have to put shims on the other side, and it's just kind of annoying. To me, at this point, the briBrain mount is the way to go. Some people still like the McStinky mount, but like, I don't know, man. The briBrain mount is really, really good. The McStinky mount also sits really low. This is what the McStinky looks like. It sits really low, and so you've got a whole bunch of duct in view on the bottom. The briBrain sits up, puts the camera up higher, and so you get a lot less duct in view, which I'm a big fan of. So I don't know, man. At this point, I don't think the McStinky is the way to go. For a little while, it was kind of like the only option. It is a little bit lighter. This McStinky here is 0.8 of a gram compared to the briBrain that I just weighed, which is also 0.8 of a gram. Is that true? briBrain is 0.9 of a gram. 0.1 of a gram difference between these two. briBrain, yo. All day. Get you some briBrain. If you go lighter than that on a TPU printed mount, it's not going to be as durable. There are absolutely lighter weight 3D printed mounts out there, but they're going to do one of two things. Either the mount itself is going to break, or the mount is going to allow the camera to slam down into the AIO. Hey, the other really good mount that I like at the moment is the Quad 6.6 mount. It is even heavier. I think it's 0.9 of a gram though. And so you're continuing to add a little bit of extra weight, but it is really cool. It pushes the camera really far forward, so you have no duct in view whatsoever. Certain cameras, like the BI, you are going to have to like carve out parts of the camera. You can see those little things that I've had to cut out of there. Not a big deal, but the only issue that I have with this camera at the moment is it can rotate. There's nothing that, and I've actually modified this one a little bit to try to make that better, and it still sits here and rotates a little bit. So if you crash it really hard, sometimes you'll take off and it'll be just pointed to the side a little bit. It's nowhere near as bad as the fractal frames, but it is a real thing. You can actually see right now, I don't know if you guys can see it, but it is twisted a little bit. So I'm going to twist it back the other way, and now it's actually twisted the wrong way. You might not notice it. After you've flown enough batteries, you absolutely will notice it. And so that does matter. That's not something that you get with the briBrain mount. There's nothing to twist. There's nothing to like, yeah. So there you have it. Propellers, biblades are always going to be a little bit lighter than triblades, but biblades are going to be very slippery, very slidey. Triblades are going to be a lot more grippy. That should be how you choose a propeller. Do you want more grip or do you want more slide? Don't choose a propeller by lightweight. That's not the way to do it. There is such a difference in the way that lightweight versus grip propellers, slidey versus grippy propellers fly, that's how you should decide. I guess unless you're building some kind of like a race quad where it doesn't matter how it flies, in that case you got to make all those decisions for yourself. Know what I'm saying? Wait, no, I need this. If you put the CO3 into the old school Module 6 canopy, you're going to have to use a file to open up the front hole. You'll see. You'll go to put it on there and it won't fit, and you'll go, what the hell? And then you got to fix it. DIY that shit. This whole hobby is DIY. There you go. With Tiny Whoops, it's pretty simple. We've got camera canopy. Oh, antennas. The absolute lightest weight antenna option is to take a dipole and remove the ground plane and just run it like this. This is the worst performing antenna possible, though, but it is the lightest weight. If you want better performance with almost as lightweight, this is the TrueRC Micro V. It's very fragile, and sometimes it causes weird vibration issues. I don't actually love this antenna, to be honest. What I think you should get is the ORT. Wait, is this the Micro V? They're not both called Micro V. Are they? Wait, hold on. Sorry. The TrueRC is called the Whoop V. The ORT is called the Micro V. This is the way that you should go. This is the best mix of durability and good performance and lightweight. I sell on my Etsy store a custom version of this, and I actually have red, yellow, and blue on the way, as well as more blacks and whites. This is a very specific length, 46 millimeters, and the shrink wrap is a little bit longer here to protect the part where the wire connects to the PCB. These antennas are just brilliant. ORT, the company that makes this, ORT stands for Old Radio Technology. You cannot tell me that is not the most perfect name for a company that makes fucking analog. I mean, these don't have to be analog antennas, but like, I just love their names so much. And yeah, this antenna has been phenomenal. It's lighter than a regular dipole antenna with the ground plane on it, right? So it's lighter weight than the antennas that you have all over the place. These work totally fine, for the record. These regular old dipoles that you have a million of, these are absolutely fine. But if you want a little bit better performance and a little bit lighter weight, it's the ORT Micro V. It's cool looking. You can get it in different colors. It's just awesome, man. This antenna blows me away. Every single time I fly something without one of these antennas, and then I go back to it, or when I try a new antenna, I come back to this antenna, I'm like, Jesus, it just works, dude. Like, I can just go farther. They're really amazing. It's a PCB design, so it's pretty much indestructible. Really, really, really good. And so, yeah, antennas are another spot that you can save a little bit of weight. Most antennas are pretty durable. This super lightweight style is going to be a little bit less durable. God forbid, like, this exposed element here gets tangled up in the propellers or something weird happens. You can absolutely hurt this. The ORT, you could hit it with a hammer and it'd be fine. But the main thing with antennas is not the durability, it's the performance. The lighter weight the antenna, the worse it's going to perform. You're not going to be able to see where you're going if you're flying like 3 levels up in your house or down the block. With a proper ORT style antenna with the ground plane molded into the PCB, it works awesome. The regular linear whip antennas work really good as well. Nothing wrong with those. If you want to make them lighter weight, if you want to take one of these guys and make it lighter weight, just cut the shrink wrap off. It's going to look ugly because the ground plane is silver, but cutting this piece of shrink wrap off here makes these legitimately lighter weight, and it actually makes them perform a little bit better. The RF has to go through that shrink wrap, right? So by cutting the shrink wrap off, it's going to be ugly, but it's going to be lighter, and it's actually going to work a little bit better. So there you go. Lots of different options with antennas. But with antennas, again, it's more performance versus weight. The lighter weight antennas typically don't perform as well. The heavier weight ones kind of do. If you want to really run a heavy antenna that performs really well, you can go all the way up to like a CP style antenna. CP being circular polarized, like a true RC singularity, like this. But now you're going to be all the way up to like 1 gram for your antenna. The ORT Micro V, I think it's like 0.5 or 0.6 of a gram. A true RC singularity like this is going to be 1 full gram. It's going to do a lot better of a job with multipathing though, and it's just a significantly better antenna. But with a tiny whoop, going from a 0.5 gram to a gram is a massive change, and not many people are going to want that change. Unless, like, if it's some kind of like a cinematic build that you want to fly really far away, and then maybe you don't care about that. Rightfully so. Cool. What questions do you guys have? Let me get caught up on chat. Right. Jason Levin says, wouldn't the light AF frame have similar vibration characteristics on pitch axis since the battery also rests on the frame? Yes. But the light AF frame, you can just feel it. Like it's just more floppy than the V3. But it's still a really good frame. It breaks out here. They made these ducts so thin that a lot of times it'll break out here or sometimes on here. But for $4, you should try one, because everybody crashes different, everybody flies different, everybody is at a different all-up weight. And so this frame might last forever for you. For $4, you should find out. You owe it to yourself to find out. You should also watch Quad66's most recent 2 videos. He dives in to the frame resonances that he's seen on the Cockroach V3 and the BetaFPV Air version 2, Air 65 version 2, with black box logs, and it's really, really cool. Uriel says, can I shift 702 brands in one build? Yeah, the PID loop will take care of it. The least powerful motor will be what all of the motors are, though, if you do that. Always keep that in mind, right? The PID loop runs at like 4,000 cycles or 8,000 cycles a second. And so you can mix and match motors, you can mix and match props. Whatever the least powerful motor and prop combo is, 4,000 times a second, the PID loop is going to limit all the rest of those motors. I scratched my forehead with my fingernail last night. Jason Levin says, how does the Runcam Nano3 compare with the 4? What's the 4? The Runcam Nano 4 is extremely heavy. It has a great big lens on it, though, so it's going to look better. But this is going to be super heavy. It's got these inserts in it. You're going to have to mount this into a canopy that has those inserts, and you're going to end up with a setup that's like a full gram heavier running the Runcam Nano 4, so don't do that. But because it has the bigger lens, it is going to look better. The reason why the Runcam Nano 3 doesn't look quite as good as the other cameras is that it's got a tiny little lens element. That's also why it's so durable and so lightweight, though. Good question. Oh, nope, that ain't it. Hey, I have this special microphone hooked up for when we fly in a minute. Oh my god, it's 4:37 already. Holy shit. Ramalala says, anything analog better than CO3, not weight analog, cheers. Nope, CO3 is the best. I've done 2 live streams with camera comparisons. Both of them I compared at least 8 different cameras, and in both situations, chat and myself agreed that the CO3 is the best looking. Levster says, hey dude, do you know a good app I can use to edit videos and create virtual stage and crowd? Preferably AI powered. No, I'm not the guy to talk to about like editing though. I do as little of it as possible. Speaking of though, those of you that are patrons have an email waiting for you with the first edit that I've done for the exotic car rally. So go check it out. There's a Patreon post with a link. The video is unlisted. Let me know what you think. Enjoy, hopefully. Sporny FPV says, did you change your 1S 75mm back to dynamic idle yet? Here to remind you. Yeah, over on General Nonsense on my Discord, Sporny was letting us know that in the CLI, in the older versions of Betaflight, 4.5, 4.4, 3.2, there is something in the CLI that'll let you push the dynamic idle up even higher. We were having a problem last live stream where I couldn't get I maxed out the dynamic idle and it still wasn't high enough to spin the motors reliably. And so yeah, there's a fix for that. Apparently in Betaflight 4.6 they have corrected this, but most of us aren't on 4.6 yet. Good call, Sporny. And yeah, that's in General Nonsense. Although hold on, let me because that a lot of people post in General Nonsense. Let me really quickly show it here so that we have a record of it. Where is it at? Here it is. Here's Sporny's post. So it is DYN_idle_start_increase. So that's it. There's going to be a default value there. If you've maxed your dynamic idle out in the PIDs tab, and your motors are still twitching, you're going to go into the CLI and you're going to increase this. Let's do it right now. I'm going to copy this. Let's do it right now. So here is that build. I flew this outside a little bit the other day. I wanted to show you guys the flight footage, but I was kind of flying like a buffoon. And so I'm not going to show you guys the flight footage. I'm going to delete it. Connect. And so we're going to go into PID tuning. I'd given up on dynamic idle, so I zeroed it out. So I'm going to put a value back in. I think 200 is the highest, right? If I type 201 in, and I hit tab, it changes it to 200. That's how we know that 200 is the highest. So I'm going to put 200 in there, and I'm going to hit save, and I already know that this doesn't spin the motors reliably. So now we're going to come in here, and here's what you want to do first. You want to type get. You guys won't be able to see that. You're going to type get, and then you're going to paste in that DYN_idle_start_increase. If you can't remember that, watch this. If you type get DYN, because it's dynamic, this is dynamic idle, right? If you type DYN, it's going to show you all of the different commands in the CLI that have DYN as that beginning part. And so here we go. Dynamic idle, D gain, I gain. I wonder what the fuck those are. Max increase, minimum RPM, P gain, start increase. So the start increase is the one. There's just a little tip. If you forget what something is in the CLI and you just start typing letters, sometimes it'll give you, usually you have to give it a couple letters. So like crash, if you type get, you want to do your crash recovery, get C-R-A, there we go. Get craft name, get crash delay, right? So that's a super handy little tip. Just start typing what you think it might be, and it'll give you a list. So you want to do get first because you want to see where it's at right now. So you type get dynamic idle start increase, and you see that right now it's at 50. And the allowable range is 10 to 255. And so we're at 50 right now. Let's bump it up to 80. In order to do that, you don't want to type get, you want to type set. S-E-T. And then, in my case, I'm just going to paste it in. You're going to go equals, and then you're going to put the value that you want. So let's try 80. You hit return, and now it tells you set dynamic idle increase equals 80. That's what you just typed. Dynamic idle start increase has been set to 80. Don't forget to type save. And now it's going to reset out. Don't be afraid of the CLI, my friends. It's not that bad. And so I've got a battery on the charger for this thing, oddly enough. We're going to plug this guy in and wait for ELRS to connect. And now let's see if the motors will spin. There it is. Well, let me put it down on the desk. When you hold it in your hand, you're shaking a little bit, and the PID loop is gonna. Yep, and they're spinning slowly, very, very slowly, which is what you want. That's the magic of dynamic idle. So there we go. On this particular setup, X12 tree toppers, 1S 450 mAh lava and Weebleed batteries with 180-degree BT 2.0. On this exact setup, I need to max out the dynamic idle in the PIDs tab and then bump that value there up to 80. What I should do is go back into the CLI and go from 80 down to 70 and see if it'll spin the motors up, and then go down to 60 and find the lowest possible value. Also, I have already gone into the ESC configurator and turned the minimum the startup values up as high as they'll go. So I've already maxed out the dynamic idle in the PIDs tab, and I've already maxed out the startup values in BlueJay in the ESC-configurator.com. And so the next step is to go into the CLI and do it. Then you want to go fly it, and you want to go make sure that when you put it into like really hard scenarios, like hard prop wash, hard stick inputs, that it doesn't drop a motor. If it's dropping a motor randomly when you don't want it to, even though it's spinning the motors up reliably, you need to make that value a little bit higher. If you want, this process here is how you get the maximum amount of hang time. The idle, if you get the idle as low as possible, where it doesn't stall the motors out when you push it really hard, when you're inverted, the motors are going to be spinning as slow as possible, and you'll get the maximum hang time. When in doubt, set these values a little bit high, because if you push it really hard and a motor stalls out, you could crash into a goddamn river and lose the whole rig. And nobody wants that. So at this point, I'm going to leave this at 80. They were spinning very slowly, and I'm going to fly a couple of batteries on it. Fuck it. Let's do it right now. I'll show you what I mean. These are spinning slow enough where it might actually drop an arm. Let's take a look. I'll do one battery on this real fast here. I don't think I don't know about this offset thing. I'm gonna move this back into the center. 68, 65. There we go. That's centered. All right. Transmitter back on, and set of goggles. Thank you for the reminder, brother. Uriel says flight like you stole it, handle it, improve. Rama says good health, fun, fun, fun. FPV says have 2 microviews on the way from Weebleed. Very cool. You better remember to hit my affiliate link. If you didn't, it's okay. I forget to hit my own affiliate link sometimes. Uriel says something. FizzFPV says already watched it twice. Nice work. Thank you, dude. FPV says, oh yeah, the supercar, it was sick. Thank you, man. Cole Powers says CLI, I think you can use as a wild card get OSD underscore, and you can use dump to get the whole craft configured. Diff, yeah, dump and diff are fun. You can look at everything in there. Yeah, big battery. This is gonna be hard to fly in here, but I just want to kind of show you. Oh, there might be a little bit of a delay because both mics are on right now. Let me. I'm gonna give you guys the room mic. The new room mic that I have set up, which you can see on the left side of the frame here. That's the arm going to the room mic. So I want to turn off the Shure mic in here. So now you guys just have the room mic, which is kind of fun. Here you go. Big quad in the house. Outdoor quad inside the house. That was stupid. I just blew all these 3D prints everywhere. Hold on. Oh boy. Okay. Here's the other mic. Hey, easy, fella. So, just like really pushing it. Ew! It's really hard to do inside the house with something this big and heavy, but seems okay so far. Boy, are these 75s impossible to fly inside the house. Holy shit. Just too much. This thing is super fun outside, though. God damn, these tree toppers are insane out in the front yard. Jesus. Ah! Those of you wearing headphones, I'm doing this for you. Oh my god, sorry about that. You're now dead. So the way that I have this mic set up, it's left and right. To the left is left right now, and to the right is right. So when I do this, well, when I successfully power loop or Matty flip it, it'll go left speaker to right speaker, which is kind of cool. Oh! Oh. Oh. Hitting that power loop through the weed lead gates is one of the most satisfying things in here. It's a big gate, but still hard to do. Oh, don't fall back behind there, please. Thank you. No. Hey, it touched me. Oh, come on, man. Got a good little run going. Oh, what did I do that for? Oh. Twice I've hit the mic. Oh my god. Great runtime with these motors too. Best 1S 75mm motor, full stop, unquestionably. All right, so that's the outdoor 1S 75mm rig inside the house. Don't try this at home, kids. It just doesn't make any sense to. This is now the Hummingbird V4 on NX69 batteries. Do a couple here, fly along with me, and get better, my friends. Hummingbird V4 NX69 quad 6.6 camera mount, ultra lightweight antenna, HQ 1.2 by 0.9 by 3 propellers. That's it. Otherwise, this is stock Hummingbird. Other than some extra hair. Get out of there. Get out of there. There we go. With the NX69 plug, if you have it set up, it's easy to not plug it in backwards. When you have the plug set up like this, right, 90 degree, and the 90 degree going up, this is the way that you should have it set up. The yellow goes out. That's it. No big deal. Yellow goes out. I don't understand how people would be plugging these things in backwards. You put the battery in the same way no matter what, and it's either bright yellow or black and gold. Like it's super obvious, but hey, what do I know? I just work here. You guys like it better with this centered? I really don't care. It's going to be centered no matter what because it makes me feel better. Hummingbird V4. Wow, okay. A lot lighter. Hold on. Wowie. Okay. This is also a comparison of cameras. This is the NewBie BI version 2. And you were just looking at Runcam Nano3. Different uptilt here as well. Alright, let me get used to this. Come on now. Damn you. Oh, so close. Ooh. Oh. Oh no! That's gonna be hard to get out of there. Oh shit. I don't think I can get out of here. Nah, it ain't coming out. Okay. There you at, little buddy. Where are you? I got it. I got him. Hey! Try my best not to smash into the mic and kill anyone with headphones on. What do you guys think? Those of you that are actually like listening to the stream, is it cool to have this? It's kind of a pain in the ass to get this mic. I have to plug this mic in before the live stream. If it's cool though, I'll absolutely do it. But if it's not as good as the other mic, let me know. Skinny legs! Oh! Ah! Oh, that would have been sick. Ah, so close. NX69, yo, 2 minutes and 50 seconds. The Hummingbird V4 is not the lightest weight rig either. Yeah, NX69, man, great connector, and it's a slightly thicker gauge, wire, 20 gauge versus 22, I think it is. Weebly says sounds good, very cool. UCanopies says it's pretty cool, but I wouldn't kill yourself to set it up every time. It's not. It's not that bad. It's like 15 extra seconds of faffing that I'm more than willing to do, because this mic was just sitting in a drawer, and this mic arm was just sitting in a box. It feels good to like use them. I'm most interested to hear from people with headphones. I think with headphones on, it might be really kind of cool for the true immersive experience. And I want my voice to be a little bit quieter. Oh, God! It's absolutely insane that this is pretty much a stock build. Oh, well, I'm going to spend the rest of this battery doing that. I never thought to do that before. I can't believe I've never thought to do that before. Surely I've thought about that before. It's harder than it looks because you're catching it. Oh boy, I got all discombobulated. So you got to really catch it just at the right spot. Yeesh. Well, I'm trying to eliminate the little moment of stalling out. Oh, what the hell was that? In between? Like, I would love it just to be one big motion. What is happening? Why it keeps rocketing into the ceiling? Oh God, that was my bad on that one. That went through. Oh boy, OSD is going ham. Oh. Oh, come on. I thought I could just skim by the side of that cube. Jesus Christ, come on now. No! No! Those 4 gates. When you go cranking through those 4 gates, it is so cool looking. Oh boy. Alright. Little fella took some abuse. Let's flip it into turtle mode, spin each motor up. I think one of the propellers might be getting a little banged up. Yeah, the right front. Motor 2. Yeah, I'm starting to rip the outside of the blade off of this prop on motor number 2. I'll let it rip all the way off. I'm just going to flatten it back out for right now. Oh man, that's almost all the way. That's torn almost all the way through. That's funny. One of the things that the HQ ultralights will do is, like, if this is the blade, like out at around this point of the blade, like if this is the hub here, out around this point of the blade, it'll bend over, and then eventually it'll like rip, and it'll start to rip all the way through, and it's ripped like half of the way through right now. But
fuck it, send it, bro.
We're gonna send it. Sorry to anybody that doesn't hate that saying as much as I do. It's not personal. All right. We're going to do 2 more real quick. 503? Yeah, we'll do 2 more. You guys got to fly 6. I'm flying 4. Wait, no. I flew that 450. Last battery, friends. Thanks for hanging out. CiottiFPV.com to support me. It's the only way that I can continue to do this. Times are getting tough. Help a brother out. Go from the $3 tier to the $5 tier. If you're on the $5 tier and you have an extra $1 a month, just change the dollar amount to $6 a month. It makes a huge difference. Ooh, I almost hit Teddy. Wait, I thought he was... Where'd he go? Did he run away? Did he run to his mom? He did. He ran... Scared him. I scared him. Look how silly he looks. This haircut is just not doing him any favors. Oh my god, this thing makes power. On this connector, with these fresh batteries... Oh! And these Newbie Drone 30,000 kV 702s... This is dreamy. Oh! Oh my god, I was just letting it hang, yo. Ah! I thought I could cut that really close. Didn't quite get it. And now I'm picking up all the hair in this. The stairwell has lots of hair in it. Every time I crash in the stairwell, it's a hairy mess. Ah! Oh, balls. One of Teddy's toys. OSD has left the chat. It's back! Nope. Oh! Oh! I haven't done that in a while. It always blows me away that this doesn't happen more often. There we go. Hold on. Let me just untangle this little bit of hair that got wound up. Alright, and we're back. Good to go. How much hair got wrapped around the motor, though? Not much. I just charged these goggles. I just charged them. This is absolutely insane. Oh man, I missed it completely. Ah! Ooh! Ah! 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 Damn, dude, 5 of them in a row! And then it threw a propeller. What a perfect spot to end. It ain't gonna get any better than that, and these goddamn goggles keep fucking beeping, so that's it for me. That battery's not totally done, but it's fine. Thanks for hanging, friends. Go try that move out. Go try the Matty flip to power. It's not really a power. It's kind of like a Ciotti flip. Matty flip to Ciotti flip to Matty flip to Ciotti flip to Matty flip to Ciotti flip. See how many you can do in a row. Thanks for hanging, friends. I'll see you guys tomorrow night. Tomorrow night is not a giveaway stream, right? It's the following Monday, so you've got a week and a day to get onto the $5 or up tiers to get entered into October's giveaways. 4 giveaways 2 Mondays from now. Support me. I'll keep telling you what to buy. Euro says, you didn't tell us how much you love Maggie. You have once a D cast. FizzPV says, outstanding. Weebleed says, FYI, to all Weebleed 300 mAh BT 2.0 LiPo is now $19.99 a pack. New price structure going forward. Those are the batteries that I run on BT 2.0. They are excellent. You should get yourself some. use my affiliate link if you don't mind. Love you, bye! Here's some more Castle Crashing. We are on battery number 36 of Castle Crashing. See ya!